You think the Sacklers were bad. They made billions destroying American lives with OxyContin. They got away with it. They kept most of the money. They're still billionaires. But compared to Pablo Escobar, the Sacklers are amateurs. Children playing at a game Escobar mastered decades before they even started. The Sacklers destroyed hundreds of thousands of lives and made 20 billion before anyone stopped them. Pablo Escobar did worse, much worse. He killed over 4,000 people personally ordered. He bombed commercial airliners. He assassinated presidential candidates. He brought an entire nation to its knees. And at the height of his power, he was making $1 million a day. Not a year, a day. This is the story of the man who industrialized cocaine, who turned a regional drug into a global epidemic, who built an empire so powerful that governments negotiated with him as an equal. And when it was over, when the bodies were counted and the damage was done, his hometown built him a shrine. Because that's how drug empires work. You destroy millions of lives. You launder the money through charity. And by the time anyone realizes what happened, you're a folk hero. Let's start in 1949. Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria is born in Rio Negro, Colombia, the son of a peasant farmer and a schoolteacher. By all accounts, he's a sweet kid. His mother remembers him playing with snakes, saying, "See, I'm not hurting you." He loves animals. He loves soccer. He's deeply religious. Growing up in Medellin, a city with one of the world's highest murder rates, where violence is generational and expected, Colombia is in the middle of La Violencia, a civil war that killed 300,000 people. This is a country where children don't brag about their parents' cars, but about the number of bodyguards they have. Where paid killers light candles in churches before going to work. This is the environment that shapes Escobar. As a teenager, he's expelled from school. He drifts into petty crime. Stealing tombstones from cemeteries, shaving off the names, reselling them. Stealing cars. Taking contracts to kill people in his late teens. Not because he's inherently evil. Because it's a job. Because it pays. Because in Medellin, this is normal. But Escobar is ambitious. His cousin Gustavo Gaviria introduces him to drug smuggling. At the time, it's marijuana and coca paste, small-time operations. Escobar starts as a courier, driving coca paste from the Andes to laboratories in Medellin. He races his cousin. Winner takes all. The street value of cocaine is $35,000 a kilo. A small plane can make millions. And Escobar sees the opportunity immediately. Here's what you need to understand about what Escobar was walking into in the 1970s. The DEA was focused on marijuana and heroin from Mexico. They created a gap in the market. Colombia was close to the U.S., had no extradition treaty, and had a culture of smuggling built over generations. The infrastructure was already there. Escobar just had to scale it. By age 26, he's caught with 39 kilos of cocaine. The charges are dropped. By age 30, he's a millionaire. He buys Hacienda Napoles, a $63 million estate with a private zoo, helicopter, and thousands of acres. He commissions the car that once belonged to Al Capone and mounts his first drug plane above the entrance like a trophy. But Escobar isn't just rich. He's thinking strategically. In 1981, he does something that changes everything. He partners with Carlos Leder and the Ochoa brothers to form what becomes known as the Medellin Cartel. This isn't a gang. This is a corporation. They divide up the U.S. market with the Cali Cartel. Medellin takes Miami and Los Angeles. Cali takes New York. They standardize operations. They buy an island in the Bahamas called Norman's Cay and turn it into a distribution hub, a Federal Express for cocaine. They run 5 flights a week into the U.S., 400 kilos per flight. That's $140 million per week in street value. The money becomes a logistical problem. They start weighing it instead of counting it. One U.S. dollar bill weighs approximately 1 gram. They package millions, load it onto private jets, and fly it back to Colombia. At his peak, Escobar is earning $1 million a day. $3 billion total by the time he's killed, more than any criminal in history. But here's what separates Escobar from other drug lords: violence and charity. He understands that fear keeps people in line. But charity buys loyalty. He builds an entire neighborhood in Medellin's slums, 200 homes for the poorest families. He builds soccer fields, sponsors teams, funds schools, pays teachers. The people call him El Patron, the boss. Not because he's a gangster, but because he's their benefactor. Mrs. Flores, one of the first people he rehoused, keeps his picture next to a crucifix and a burning candle. She says he's going to be the next saint. Meanwhile, Escobar is running a death squad called MAS with over 2,000 men. On December 2nd, 1993, he makes a fatal mistake. He talks to his son for longer than 3 minutes. The police triangulate his location. 5 officers kick in the door. Escobar and 1 bodyguard run to the roof. There's a gunfight. The bodyguard dies. Escobar is caught in crossfire and shot dead. He's 44 years old. When his mother and sisters arrive, one sister laughs at the police, saying they killed the wrong man. Then she climbs the ladder, sees her brother's body, and realizes Pablo Escobar is dead. His mother says, "My soul has been destroyed. There will never be anyone like Pablo again." And she's right, but not in the way she means. Here's the lesson. Escobar destroyed Colombia. He killed thousands. He corrupted every institution. He turned cocaine into a global epidemic that's still killing people today. And in his hometown, they built him a shrine. They light candles. They pray for him. Because he built them houses and soccer fields. The Sacklers destroyed hundreds of thousands of American lives. They paid $4.5 billion in settlements and kept $15 billion. Museums removed their name. They're socially exiled. But they're still billionaires. Escobar made more, killed more, destroyed more, and died a hero in Medellin. That's the difference between American drug lords and Colombian ones. In America, you get settlements and shame. In Colombia, you get statues. Both keep the money. Both destroy lives. Both use charity to buy forgiveness. The playbook is identical. The only difference is scale. And Escobar's scale was bigger than anyone before or since.